In 1977, Chevrolet was untouchable. The K5 Blazer had been crushing the SUV market for 8 straight years, and General Motors didn't just know it, they flaunted it. Ford's little Bronco, a cute toy, a weekend crawler for guys who didn't need real space or real power. Chevy executives were laughing all the way to the bank while Ford sat on the sidelines watching their outdated first-gen Bronco collect dust on dealer lots. But deep inside Ford's engineering bunker, something was brewing. Something massive. Something that had been locked away since 1973, waiting for the perfect moment to detonate. In 1978, Ford kicked the door down and unleashed a full-size monster that didn't just compete with the Blazer, it buried it. This is that story. Let's rewind to 1969. Chevrolet dropped the K5 Blazer, and it was an absolute game-changer. This thing was built on a full-size pickup frame with a 104-inch wheelbase, powered by genuine big-block V8 options, and had enough cargo space to haul a family of 5 plus all their camping gear. It wasn't a compromise. It was a full-size truck with a roof you could pop off. Chevy hit the sweet spot, and the sales numbers proved it. Now look at what Ford was selling. The first-generation Bronco, the early Bronco that millionaires pay 6 figures for today, was stuck in 1966. It rolled on a tiny 92-inch wheelbase, barely bigger than a Jeep CJ. Sure, it was capable off-road, but here's the brutal truth. Back in the early 70s, families didn't want capability. They wanted space. They wanted comfort. They wanted a V8 that didn't feel choked by a compact chassis. The early Bronco was too small, too cramped, and too impractical for the average American family. Meanwhile, the Blazer offered full-size V8 power, a spacious interior, and room for the whole crew. Chevy wasn't just winning, they were laughing at Ford. Dealerships couldn't keep Blazers in stock, while Broncos sat unsold, gathering dust under fluorescent lights. Ford knew they had a problem, a big one, and by 1972, they'd finally had enough. The bean counters, the engineers, the executives, they all agreed. If Ford wanted to survive in the SUV game, they needed to fight fire with fire. The Bronco had to grow up. Fast. In 1972, Ford's top brass called an emergency meeting. The directive was clear: build a full-size Bronco that could go toe-to-toe with the Blazer, and do it quietly. They codenamed it Project Shorthorn. The mission? Take the upcoming 1973 F-100 truck platform and transform it into a Blazer killer. Ford's engineers went to work immediately, sketching out a beast that would dwarf the old Bronco and finally give Chevy a reason to sweat. The plan was brilliant. Use the F-100's proven chassis, stuff it with Ford's most powerful V8 engines, and wrap it in aggressive sheet metal that screamed dominance. The target launch date? 1974. Ford was ready to reclaim the throne they'd lost before they even knew they were in a fight. And then everything fell apart. October 1973. The OPEC oil embargo hit like a freight train. Gas prices didn't just rise, they exploded. Lines at gas stations stretched for blocks. Americans were panicking, ditching their V8 land yachts for anything that sipped fuel instead of chugging it. Ford's executives looked at Project Shorthorn, a massive, heavy, thirsty V8-powered SUV, and made the toughest call of their careers. They locked it in a vault. For 4 agonizing years, the Bronco that could have beaten Chevy sat in storage, collecting dust, while accountants crunched numbers and prayed the fuel crisis would end. Ford had no choice but to watch from the sidelines as Chevrolet sold Blazers by the truckload, completely unchallenged, raking in profits while Ford's engineers bit their tongues and waited. But here's the thing about patience. When you finally get your shot, you don't hold back. You unleash everything. And in 1978, Ford did exactly that. The vault doors opened and Project Shorthorn rolled out as the most aggressive, over-engineered, Chevy-crushing monster Ford had ever built. When the 1978 Bronco finally hit the streets, it wasn't an evolution, it was a revolution. Ford had added 12 inches to the wheelbase, stretching it to 104 inches to match the Blazer. But they didn't stop there. They tacked on 28 inches to the overall length and 11 inches to the width. This wasn't the cute little Bronco anymore. This was a full-size brawler that made the old model look like a toy. And Ford made one thing crystal clear: no 6-cylinder compromises. The base engine was the 351 modified V8, a torque monster that came standard. But if you really wanted to embarrass every Blazer on the road, you checked the box for the optional 400 cubic inch V8, cranking out over 300 pound-feet of tire-shredding torque. This wasn't subtle power. This was big block attitude. Now let's talk about what made this thing truly bulletproof. Up front, Ford bolted in a solid Dana 44 axle, riding on coil springs, giving it superior off-road articulation that made the Blazer's setup look dated overnight. Out back sat the legendary Ford 9-inch rear axle on leaf springs, a drivetrain component so overbuilt that rock crawlers still hunt them down for custom rigs today. And the transfer case? The gear-driven new Process 205. If you know, you know. This wasn't some chain-driven lightweight. It was the holy grail of heavy-duty transfer cases, built to take abuse that would shred lesser drivetrains. Ford didn't just build a competitor, they built a tank with a V8 heartbeat. Here's where Ford didn't just match Chevy, they completely out-engineered them. And it all came down to one critical design flaw that Chevy refused to fix: the removable roof. The K5 Blazer's party trick was its fully removable hardtop. You could unbolt the entire roof and cruise open air, which looked incredible in magazine ads. But in the real world, it was a nightmare. Owners complained endlessly about rattling, squeaking, and flexing. The body structure had zero rigidity without that roof bolted down. Worse yet, those seals leaked like a sinking ship. One rainstorm and your interior turned into a swimming pool. Chevy knew about the problem, they just didn't care enough to fix it. Ford's lead designer, Dick Nesbitt, saw an opportunity. Instead of copying Chevy's flawed design, he created something smarter: the wraparound Targa-style roof. Here's how it worked. Ford used the standard F100 steel doors and built a fixed steel cab structure over the front passengers. Rock solid, weatherproof, safe. Then, only the rear section got a removable fiberglass shell. You still got the open-air experience when you wanted it, but the structural integrity stayed intact. The brilliance? Ford solved three problems at once. First, no more leaks soaking the driver and front passenger. Second, the fixed steel cage made the Bronco infinitely safer in a rollover compared to the Blazer's flimsy full removable setup. And third, this is the genius part: Ford kept manufacturing costs down by sharing the front doors and cab structure directly with the F-150 truck line. Same tooling, same parts bins, maximum efficiency. Chevy was selling a convertible with a leak problem. Ford was selling a truck that happened to have a removable back section. One was a gimmick, the other was engineering. And when buyers started comparing the two side by side in showrooms, the difference was painfully obvious. Here's where the trash talk ends, and the numbers do the talking. When the 1978 Bronco hit dealership lots in late 1977, the reaction was volcanic. Ford dealers weren't just taking orders. They were turning customers away. The demand was so insane that buyers were being put on 6-month wait lists just to get their hands on one. 6 months for a truck. That's not hype. That's a cultural shift. Let's talk numbers, because this is where Chevy's dominance completely collapsed. In 1978, Ford sold 77,917 Broncos. To put that in perspective, that's more than the previous 4 years of first-generation Bronco sales combined. Ford had been sitting on the sidelines for nearly a decade, and in 1 year, they made up for all that lost time. But 1978 was just the opening act. In 1979, Ford pushed the throttle even harder and moved over 104,000 units. That wasn't just growth. That was annihilation. For the first time in the full-size SUV war, the Ford Bronco didn't just compete with the Chevy Blazer and Dodge Ram Charger. It crushed them. Ford took the crown, and Chevy had no answer. The wait lists kept growing. Dealers were marking up prices because supply couldn't keep up with demand. Meanwhile, Blazers started piling up on Chevy lots, their removable roofs rattling in the wind, while salesmen scrambled to offer discounts just to move inventory. Ford had spent 4 years in exile watching Chevy print money, but when they finally stepped back into the ring, they didn't just throw a punch, they delivered a knockout. The 1978 Bronco proved something Detroit had forgotten: give people what they actually want: power, space, and bulletproof engineering, and they'll line up around the block to buy it. Chevy's monopoly was over. The Bronco era had begun. Here's the kicker that makes this story even crazier. The 1978 and 1979 Bronco only existed for 2 years before Ford completely redesigned it for the 1980 bullnose generation. That's it, just 2 model years. Ford kicked down the door, dominated the market, embarrassed Chevy, and then moved on to the next evolution. That makes the 78-79 the rarest and most aggressive full-size Bronco ever built, a 2-year window of pure, unfiltered dominance. Today, these trucks are legends. Clean examples are climbing in value every year, and collectors are finally waking up to what enthusiasts have known for decades. The 78-79 Bronco wasn't just a competitor, it was the moment Ford proved they could out-engineer, outsell, and outperform General Motors when they actually decided to fight back. Chevy had almost a decade of unchallenged dominance. Ford had 2 years, and in those 2 years, they changed the game forever. So let's settle this right now in the comments. If you had $30,000 cash burning a hole in your pocket today, are you buying a 1978 Ford Bronco or a 1972 Chevy K5 Blazer? Ford versus Chevy. No compromise, no mercy. Let the war begin down below.